Alright, now that you got yourself signed up, it's time to start preparing. In this video, I'm going to go ahead and give you my recommendations for the beginner to get started in their obstacle course races. Alright, so before we get into it, let's go ahead and give an update on Charlie. He's the reason I'm here, of course, so before the new year, we had him run a 5K or 5 kilometers to give us a baseline for it. So his baseline time is now 47 minutes and 30 seconds. As you can see, we'll put it up here for you. And we'll track his progress to see how that progresses throughout the year. Well, at least throughout till July when we run the race. Okay, and let's get on to the heart of the matter here, which is our training. The first point I want to make on our training is our consistency. The consistency will be your backbone for your progress. Without the consistency, you're not going to meet your goals that you've set for yourself for this race, which, you know, could just be doing decent without trying to kill yourself, or it could be setting a new personal record. Ultimately, your consistency level can be compared to walking up the down escalator. As you keep taking your steps, you're going to make your progress toward the top, or toward your goal. But if you stand still for too long, you're going to be pushed right back down to where you started from. Or even if you make it halfway up, you're going to be pushed back down if you take a long break. So if you think of it in those kind of terms, your goal's at the top, you're at the bottom. It's a constant move forward, and you're not going to get there really fast. It's not going to help you if you're going to try to sprint toward it. It's better to be, slow and consistent, and to build upon each training session with the last one. And as you do, your ability will progress, so you'll be able to take larger steps. So when you're first starting out, it'll be smaller steps followed by, medium steps followed by larger steps to get you there. But ultimately, you have to be consistent with it and not get discouraged, or have weeks where you just don't get out and do anything. A point that needs to be made is you cannot make up for a missed session by training extra hard on the following session. If you miss a week, it's better to just keep consistent, and keep working for it, and just know that you're going to have a week of missed progress. Maybe you're going to end up backpedaling just a little bit, but you just keep moving forward. You don't let it discourage you. As soon as you try to overdo it and say, okay, well, I missed last week, so I'm going to have to double up my sessions and double up my mileage that I'm running, or lift, twice as many sets as what I've been doing, and that will compensate. It really won't. And then what you end up doing is risking injuring yourself, which really will put you on hold until you can recover from your injury, and that will most definitely have a negative side effect for meeting your goals. So, point number one, most important thing, remember to be consistent. Okay, now that we know we're going to be consistent with our training, how are we going to be training? Well, it won't come as any surprise to anybody, but the main focus will be on running. Running will comprise, like I said, the majority of your training to get you ready for these races. So let's get on to what I would recommend. Okay, so what I recommend is 3 to 4 days of training per week, with 3 days being out running, 1 day being strength training. That might seem like a lot for a beginner to get done, but it's not about how long each session is. It's just about getting a session in pretty much every other day, or close to it. You can do 3 days a week, and that should work fine for most anybody. Starting off, 4 days a week will give you a little bit better of results, so that you can focus on certain running aspects and certain training aspects for your strength training, and give your body enough recoup time in between those to make the progress that you are looking for or hoping to get, I'm sure. So for the running, you want one long day. Now, the long day is going to be more about time than it is anything else. If you start off with an hour, that should be fine, but I would aim for an hour and a half. And it doesn't matter how far you go, just that you keep moving and keep going for that hour and a half, whether it be on a treadmill or outside. it doesn't matter. This should be a flat ground, and it should be an easier run. Don't worry about, pushing yourself and trying to get your heart rate up. Just keep a consistent jog. An easy way to think about it is, as you're jogging or running or walking, is can you keep a conversation going without delaying it? And you really want to be able to maintain that conversation. That means you're working out easy, and that's the kind of pace that you want to work for your long run day. The other 2 days of running that I would recommend are going to be intervals and hill sprints, which are pretty well interchangeable. You can do intervals one week and hill sprints the next week for both of them, or either or. I would probably mix them up just to keep things moving each week. For the hill sprints, I would recommend grabbing or finding a hill nearby that you can run up and down several times. If it's a long hill, maybe it's only 1 or 2 times that you're going to go up and down it. If it's a shorter hill, maybe you're going to run up it a dozen times. And then all you do is you go up it just as quickly as you can and come back down, nice and easy to help recover. And at the bottom of the hill, if you need to take a breather, and then when you're ready to push it, push hard going up. And now that doesn't mean that you have to be sprinting as hard as you can going up. You want to be pushing pretty hard, but if you're pushing hard is only a walk up the hill, or keeping a good consistent pace going up the hill, then so be it. That will work fine, because eventually, as you keep doing that, you will find that you will start jogging and then running and then sprinting up the hill as time progresses. That's that consistency part coming back to us. And then for the last day of the running, we would do intervals. Intervals will be basically the same thing as hill sprints, except for we'll do them on a track or out on a flat ground or on a treadmill. And that's just running on a flat ground as fast as you can for, say, 30 seconds to a minute, and then walking to recover your heart rate. Again, you walk until you are rested and your heart rate has dropped back down so that you can push hard again. And again, this is all about pushing as hard as you can during that time you push, followed by however long it takes you to recover. And eventually what you want to do is move up to the point where your run and your rest are about 1-to-1 for that ratio. And if you never get to that point right away, or if you don't get to that point right away, don't worry about it. It will come eventually. And that moves us on to the strength training portion of this. The strength training is going to take kind of a back seat to a lot of it, because you can survive one of these races really easy by being able to run and having a good base of cardio and failing the obstacles. The Tough Mudder, for example, doesn't even require obstacle completion. It's more about trying the obstacle. If you fail and you fall in the water and you swim out, you can actually turn around and go back and try it again, but it's not mandatory. There's no penalty if you fail it. You just keep moving forward if you want. And it's more about having a good time and working with your team or with everyone else as a team. With a race like Spartan Race, if you do fail the obstacle, you do your burpees and you take off. Now, your burpees, those could be incorporated into any of your training days. Strength training day would work well, or just into one of the other running days where you just plan on doing 30 burpees before you start running, just to help you get used to it. But if your cardio's down, then the burpees should come relatively easy. So with the strength training, with these obstacles, there's going to be a lot of pulling your own body weight. Now, they do have a lot of them where you're lifting buckets or carrying sandbags. But lifting your own body weight, like doing the monkey bars, Tough Mudder has that Funky Monkey, has the King of Swingers, Spartan Race has the rope climb, it has the monkey bars also, it has the multi-rig, all very difficult, all really incorporate your back and your grip strength. So those are the key focuses to get started. As a beginner, those are what you want to focus on. So for strength training, what I would recommend is worrying mostly about pull-ups. And if you can't do pull-ups, don't worry about it. There's ways to do assisted pull-ups, but you can also hang from the bar. I've seen a lot of progress be made just by those, as they hang. And you just find a bar, door frame, if you have one that's strong enough, of course, or just get one of those bars, the pull-up bars that are, you can put in a door frame, or go to a local park and use the monkey bars, and just hang from them for as long as you can before your grip gives out. And try to do pull-ups. A lot of times you can pull yourself up and do the chin up, where you hold your chin to the bar for as long as possible, and then when you drop down, hang for as long as you can. And as long as you do that during your strength training days, you should be pretty set. And if you do that 3 to 4 days a week, if you're starting from not running these races at all, or not training at all, not exercising, to, say, in this case, 6 months off, you should be in a good spot to take the race on without too much worry, we'll say. And well, if you're still listening at this point, you might be interested that I'm going to cover what to wear next week, or next time I make a video, which hopefully should be next week. So until then, we'll catch you later.